Anniversary Conference, Strengths in Unity, Building Community Together. I'm the radio producer and the founder of UCAN Radio, which is broadcasting today, here from this place, live. On behalf of UCC-APC, it is a privilege to welcome each of you to this momentous occasion. Today, we come together to celebrate 5 decades of unwavering dedication, resilience, and unity within our Ukrainian community. This milestone reflects the collective efforts and achievements that have shaped our journey. We extend our heartfelt gratitude to all attendees, speakers, moderators, delegates, volunteers, and of course, supporters. Your commitment and passion are the pillars that uphold our vibrant community and make events like this possible. A special thank you goes out to our delegates who have traveled from all across the province and territory. We are honored to welcome guests from Toronto, Ottawa, Vancouver, Saskatchewan, Grand Prairie, Fort McMurray, Lethbridge, Lloydminster, Calgary, and Vancouver. We're also delighted to extend a warm welcome to a distinguished speaker joining us from Denmark. Тож, доброго ранку! Ми раді вітати вас на конференції, яка присвячена 50-річчю Конгресу українців Канади Провінційна Рада Альберти. Це визначна подія, і ми сьогодні тут для того, щоб відсвяткувати цей день і для того, щоб, звісно, що зробити його неймовірним. Ми дуже раді і ми дуже вдячні всім партнерам, спонсорам, спікерам і всім, хто підтримує конференцію, а також ми вдячні всім гостям, які зі всієї країни приїхали на цю знакову подію. З Торонто, Оттави, Ванкувера, Saskatchewan, Grand Prairie, Форт Макмюррей, Лethbridge, Lloydminster, Calgary і Vancouver. І також ми маємо гостя із Данії сьогодні. And before we move on, I'd like to share some quick housekeeping notes to make your day more comfortable and enjoyable. First, for your convenience, washrooms are located just through the foyer, and the emergency exits are also accessible from there. Your safety is always a priority. We have media and photography on site throughout the day to capture the highlights of this special event, so don't be surprised if you find yourself in a few memorable shots. And lastly, thanks to Talos, we have charging stations available for those of you who need to power up your devices throughout the day. We hope this helps you stay connected without any interruptions. And also before we start, we would like to take a moment to recognize the land on which we gather today. The Ukrainian Canadian Congress-Alberta Provincial Council respectfully acknowledges that we are celebrating our 50th anniversary conference on Treaty 6 territory, a traditional gathering place for diverse indigenous people. This land is home to the Cree, Lakhani, Métis, Nakarasu, Iroquois, Dene, Ojibwe, Saulteaux, Anishinaabe, Inuit, and many others whose histories, languages, and cultures continue to shape and enrich our vibrant community. We honor and respect the enduring relationships that indigenous nations have with this land and recognize their deep-rooted contributions to our shared history and society. And let's set our goals today. As we recognize the deep roots of this land and the spirit of community it fosters, it is fitting to transition to the purpose of our gathering. This conference is not only a celebration of 5 decades of achievements, but more importantly, it's a working event dedicated to shaping our collective future. With over 50 esteemed presenters and discussions spanning 16 significant topics, our aim is to foster meaningful dialogue that results in actionable outcomes. Each session will strive to identify 2 to 3 particular strategies, creating a blueprint that will guide our community growth and development for over the next 2 to 5 years. It is in this spirit of collaboration and forward thinking that we begin our journey today. Let's harness this opportunity to engage, learn, and make a brighter, more unified future. Тож, друзі, цілі сьогоднішньої конференції, перш за все, робочі. Ми не тільки святкуємо, але ми визначаємо стратегію на наступні 2 чи 5 років, як ми будемо рухатися, в якому напрямку ми будемо рухатися, і яких разом зі спільнотою досягнень ми з вами досягнемо. And with the goal of this conference clearly set and our journey ahead defined, it is important to recognize those who have made this gathering possible. Events like this require not just vision and dedication, but also the generous support of those who believe in our mission. Before we proceed, we would like to extend our heartfelt gratitude to our sponsors. Your support has played a crucial role in bringing this 50th anniversary conference to life and in empowering our community to plan and build for the future. We express our sincere thanks to Permanent Windows Solution Inc., the Chyczij Mortgage Team, the real estate agent Oleksandr and Agenda Translations Ltd. Your contributions are invaluable to the success of these events, and we are deeply appreciative of your commitment. Друзі, ми дуже вдячні спонсорам. Без участі спонсорів івент такого масштабу, такого скейлу не міг відбутися. Тому ми із радістю хочемо відзначити спонсорів саме тут і саме зараз перед початком конференції з цієї сцени. І ми хочемо сказати дякую Permanent Windows Solutions Inc., The Chyczij Mortgage Team, Real Estate Agent Oleksandr і Agenda Translations. So, we are honored to be joined today by a number of distinguished guests who are providing welcoming remarks. We are grateful for your attendance, as it highlights the importance of this event and our shared commitment to the community. It is our privilege to welcome Her Honor, the Honourable Salma Lakhani, Lieutenant Garnett of Alberta, to provide welcoming remarks. Your presence here today is a true testament to the significance of this gathering. Please join us on this stage.
Thank you, Jean. Thank you so much, Mr. MC. Before I begin, I'd like to say that as His Majesty the King's representative in Alberta, and as a settler, I acknowledge all First Peoples who have called this place home for thousands of years and who welcomed us here to make our own lives. May we always dwell together on these lands with respect, understanding, and a sincere commitment to walking the journey of reconciliation, and now I say reconciliation. So, good morning and доброго ранку. I hope I said that well. I got first-hand training from my aide-de-camp for today, Captain Jean Kushner, because he's of Ukrainian origin. And as I got out of my vehicle, he looked at it and he said, "How's your Ukrainian?" And I said, "Oh, train me please, Jean." So I'd like to acknowledge the presence of my aide-de-camp for today, Captain Jean Kushner. I don't know if all of you know, but all my A's, you see these A's dressed so spiffily and accompanying the Lieutenant Governor to different events, they are volunteers with my office. Jean has a daytime job, so I'd like to applaud Jean for volunteering. I'd also like to applaud the presence of each and every person in this room who volunteers their time, because volunteers are the backbone of our society and our community. So I'd like to applaud every single person in this room who volunteers their time. So can we give them a quick round? So, esteemed Platform Party guests, Minister Boissonnault, MLA Lovely, Mayor Sohi, the national president of the UCC, Alexandra, and I won't attempt to say your last name because I didn't check it with you. I know Minister Boissonnault did, but I didn't. And Consul General Alexandra Danyleiko. It's so wonderful to join you on the stage here today. And I'd like to say a big thank you to the UCC for inviting me to be a part of this conference. And please forgive my Ukrainian if I didn't say try, but next year maybe I'll do a better job. I'll say more than just good morning. So, as we all know, we are here to mark the 50th anniversary of the Ukrainian-Canadian Congress-Alberta Provincial Council. And as I came in, I talked to one of the organizers, and she told me it's been almost 20 to 25 years since you had a gathering of this nature here in Alberta. So welcome to everybody. Thank you for being here. Thank you to all the organizers, all the people who are going to be presenting later on. It's very important to have conferences such as these where we connect, we collaborate, and we create. We move forward with ideas to move our organizations forward. So I know you can all look forward to a glorious celebration of Ukrainian-Canadian achievements in politics, business, education, and the arts, as well as fruitful discussions of what the future might hold for Ukrainian-Canadian community. The future looks bright, thanks in no small part to the ongoing advocacy of the Ukrainian-Canadian Congress Alberta Provincial Council here in Alberta. The 50-year history of the UCC in Alberta coincides with the triumphant period for Ukrainian Canadians, starting with the wave of Ukrainian immigrants and refugees who arrived on our shores many decades ago. Many of these new arrivals came here fleeing the oppression of the Soviet regime and seeking a country that promised them greater political freedom, a more welcoming multicultural society, and more abundant economic opportunities. They flourished, integrating themselves into Canadian economic and political life without abandoning their language, traditions, and culture. And aren't we lucky to be living in a country like Canada, where we can be who we are and practice our traditions and our culture. I know how it is because I too came here as a refugee over 46 years ago. And I'd like to say that Canada, yes, it is that country where you can do great things and contribute all while being yourself. Because for a person like me who came here as a refugee and today has the honor of addressing you as the Lieutenant Governor of the province, that is the story of our great country. And I'm proud to say that Alberta has been a stronghold for Ukrainians for more than a century, a place where their strong work ethic and sense of community helped shape the province's maverick spirit. Today, a new wave of Ukrainians is arriving in Canada, as we all know. Like so many of their countrymen before them, they have come here fleeing a ruthless and aggressive Russian leader and hoping to find a place to rebuild their lives. And as I said, I know what it feels like to be part of a refugee population, to be uprooted from one's home. I mentioned I came here over 46 years ago, and I know what it feels like to be utterly without resources, employment prospects, or even a day-to-day support network. But I also know what it feels like to be embraced by a compassionate country that sees the value in diversity and welcoming people from different parts of the world. And so I know how meaningful it is for new Ukrainian refugees to be able to turn to an organization like the Ukrainian-Canadian Congress. Along with its affiliates across the country, the UCC has helped provide these traumatized Ukrainian families with groceries, clothing, medical supplies, and emergency housing, as well as mental health supports and language resources. And I also had the opportunity to visit the Ukrainian kitchen in the north side. And it was such a wonderful experience for me because there was these newly arrived Ukrainian women who have established a kitchen there, of course with the help of the Ukrainian community here. And I spent the afternoon with them, sharing in some good conversation, hopeful conversation, sharing with food with them. And I met a few of these ladies later on, and I know that they're doing very well, they're happy, they're settling down. So, in other words, Ukrainian Canadians continue to show up for members of their community and make sure that they are set up for success in this unfamiliar but very welcoming country. As His Majesty the King's representative, I commend you for your speedy and compassionate response to this international crisis. You all, we all have so much to celebrate and so much success to build upon. I hope that today's conference strengthens your sense of community and your pride in all that Ukrainian Canadians have contributed to Canada and around the world. Thank you.
We're pleased to welcome the Honourable Boissonnault, Minister of Employment, the Workforce Development and Official Languages. Thank you for being with us. Please join our stage.
Доброго ранку! Мене звати Boissonnault, я член member парламенту Edmonton Central. I'm also the Minister for Alberta, the Minister of Jobs, and I want to say what a fabulous job our MC is doing. Maybe next year my Ukrainian will be that good. Let's give him another round of applause. Honourable Salma Lakhani, Consul General Oleksandr Danyleiko, Jackie Lovely in LA, our dear President of the National Ukrainian Canadian Congress, Alexandra, Chyczij, and colleagues, Mayor, everyone, thank you for being here. We are in Treaty 6 territory, the lands of the Plains of Woodland Cree in the Métis District number 9. Orysia, Boychuk, thank you for the invitation and your leadership. You know, it takes a leader and a team and many people across a great province like this to say, we're going to give up a weekend to mark 50 years. I turned 50-something last year. I know what it's like to be 50. They tell me it's the new 40, so you all look young and beautiful. Give yourselves a round of applause. We're celebrating 50 years. Well done. You know, Her Honour has shared with you the history, and so I want to bring things a little bit closer to home and talk about some of the immediate challenges that are facing us. But I want to say this, as somebody who grew up in Morinville. Okay, I grew up north of the city, I came here to Campus Saint-Jean, because with a name like Boissonnault, I thought I should probably learn to speak French, so I did. But you know, when I was growing up in Morinville, we would have our big events. I thought that Hollipchi and Garnett were French foods, until I got to university and I learned better. I learned where they came from. And I spent so much time, made so many friends in the Ukrainian community at the University of Alberta, that we even revived the Pizza and Pierre Club. No, we didn't, that's what we call it, but it was, we revived the Ukrainian Student Society so that we could have epic parties like Pizza and Pivo. And Orysia, you were there on more than one occasion. And I say that because our communities are fused. And modern Ukrainian Canadians are part of the very fabric of Alberta and the very fabric of Canada. And so what you're doing is charting the path for the next 50 years. And the values that Ukrainians brought to the prairies and brought to our whole country have now shaped who we are as Canada in 2024. And I want to thank my colleague who, he and I don't agree on a lot of things, but we agree on, contributing to our communities and to the future, and he's brought the next generation with him, and that's the MP for Sherwood Park, Garnett, who's over there making sure the next generation's happy. So Garnett, thank you for being here. And I see Ziad is also in the room, my parliamentary colleagues, who you know why the parliament is set up the way it is? Give Ziad a round of applause, absolutely. The parliament is set up the way it is because it's 2 sword lengths away from each other, so that we can cross swords verbally but not physically. It's literally how the House of Commons was set up. And so Garnett and Ziad and I do that regularly, but we always keep Alberta in our hearts. My friends, as your Minister for Alberta, as a Minister of the Crown for the Government of Canada, let me be crystal clear. The Government of Canada will not stop until Vladimir Putin is pushed back into Russia and Ukraine wins this war, full stop. We must do everything we can to help Ukraine win this war for their sovereignty, for their democracy, but for all democracies. I'm going to give you some numbers. It's what I was asked to do. So take out your pens or your phones, whatever you do to keep your memory, is here are the numbers. Our government has directed $4.5 billion in military assistance and $12.4 billion in financial support to Ukraine. This includes 305 air defense missiles, $500 million in military aid announced during the NATO conference, $60 million to train pilots on F-16s, because that's what the community asked us to do. We've also provided over $50 million in humanitarian aid to support those affected by the war, and that has been essential for funding supplies, medical assistance, and support to displaced families. You will know, my friends, that the NATO Security Assistance and Training for Ukraine, during the NATO summit last month, we launched this new initiative to make sure that the logistical support for training for Ukraine will continue to support its eventual membership in NATO. Sanctions continue, and Canada has taken a strong and coordinated lead in sanctions against the Putin regime and the oligarchs. And you know, because you've told us and we've listened, that Ukraine urgently needs air defense systems. And so in May of 24, German Defense Minister Pistorius and our Minister Blair announced that Canada will contribute $76 million to a German-led initiative that will quickly source and deliver air defense systems and missiles to Ukraine. We also announced an economic resilience loan of $120 million. And when it comes to letting Ukrainians know that they have a safe harbor here in Canada, we are talking 300,000 Ukrainian newcomers that have come to this country, and you, people, wonderful Ukrainian Canadian Congress of Alberta, you've helped settle over a quarter of that. Give yourselves a super round of applause. My friends, if there was ever a time for parliamentarians to come together and to make sure that our votes are focusing on Ukraine, that time is now. And I want to say to colleagues, if we could ever form a Team Canada to face down Putin, that time is now. And I implore my Conservative, New Democrat, and Bloc Québécois MPs to do everything we can to stand with Ukrainians. Because the call to action from Ukrainians in Ukraine and from Ukrainians in Canada is clear. We must not stop until we push Vladimir Putin back into his territory, and we cannot let history say that we were on the wrong side. In fact, the work that our Liberal government is doing right now is putting us on the side of history, because we cannot play politics with an issue of life and death that will have geopolitical consequences for generations to come. Ukraina boreться za всю Європу і задній світ. My friends, Ukraine is fighting for Europe and the Western world. І ми зі Україною в цій боротьбі, and our Liberal government is standing with you in this fight. My friends, we can do this. We will do this together. Thank you. Merci. Hi. Дякую. Слава Україні. And because you all look so good at 50, I want to invite Orysia Boychuk up front to accept this certificate as our commitment to you to commemorate today's 50th anniversary conference.
So let's move forward. And it is an honor to welcome Garnett, Member of Parliament for Sherwood Park, Port Saskatchewan, and Member for Conservative Party. Thank you for being with us. Please join us on the stage.
Well, thank you very much. I hope he stays asleep for a couple minutes while I speak to you today. It has been such an honor to work with the UCC-Alberta Provincial Council over the time that I have been a Member of Parliament. I know that you are building community here in Alberta, rooted in a deep commitment to faith, to family, and to freedom here and around the world. And I know that throughout the 50 years that you have been active, and more in which the community has been active, Ukraine, the people in Ukraine have always been able to count on your strong and active support. Through Soviet occupation, through the independence movement, through the initial invasion of Crimea and the East, and now through the further invasion. The Ukrainian community here in Canada, especially here in Alberta, and their friends and neighbors have always been such strong, powerful advocates, speaking to us as MPs, elected officials at other levels, and also providing that material support. So thank you for that. I appreciate the opportunity today to bring greetings on behalf of the Conservative Party and our leader, Pierre Poilievre. And I want to add to Randy's comments about the importance of working together to be unified. Doesn't mean we don't disagree. Doesn't mean we don't sometimes disagree on Ukraine, the best way, the best timelines, and so forth. But we need to underline our shared commitment as a country to defending Ukraine's territorial integrity. And what puts this in sharpest focus for me is the work that we did at the Subcommittee on International Human Rights on the stealing of children that is happening in occupied parts of Ukraine. And obviously that hits me deeply as a father. We had testimony from children at that committee who were abducted and able to escape, sharing their own experiences, the ways in which Ukrainian families in those occupied areas are pressured with the threat of child abduction to try to force conformity with that occupying regime. This is such an evil that we have to stand against. And we have to remind our friends and neighbors that, yes, this is about stealing territory, but this is also about stealing people. It's not simply a question of language or where the border is, but this is a question of the most essential and fundamental freedom. The freedom to have your children, to raise them, to share your culture, your language, your values, and to be with them without an oppressive state standing between you and your children. So we need to be with Ukraine for as long as it takes. And we also need to deliver support as quickly as possible. Because the longer it takes, the more lives are lost, the more harm is done. So we will continue to challenge each other to both announce support and deliver that support in as quick as possible a timeline. And some areas of focus for us have been pushing for the sharing of existing Canadian weapons, financial support as well as sharing existing weapons inventory, tightening sanctions, and we have been challenging specifically on the issue of titanium sanctions. And I want to mention that issue because we understand the importance of the Russian titanium industry in terms of its violence against Ukrainians, and this is why we have been pushing to close the loophole that was created for titanium sanctions. And here in Alberta, I should say as well, the critical importance of our energy resources displacing Russian energy exports. This is what is going to allow us to be able to sustain pressure in the context of this conflict and whatever comes next, that we deprive Russia of these markets for its energy that have allowed it to sustain its economy in the midst of these conflicts. So these are a number of issues that we are continuing to work on, continuing to drive in Parliament, and I pledge to you our support as Conservatives and our willingness to work collaboratively whenever possible to push forward these important issues of tightening sanctions, providing urgently needed weapon support as quickly as possible to those who need it, so that Ukraine can win this war and win it as quickly as possible. Thank you for all you're doing to advance this cause and to build community here in our province. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you to Garnett. And we additionally would like to acknowledge Ziad Abuldeev, Conservative Member of Parliament for Edmonton Medic. And we are delighted to welcome Yuliya Kovaliv, Ambassador of Ukraine to Canada, who is joining us online. We appreciate your presence and address today.
Good morning. Honourable Salma Lakhani, Lieutenant Governor of Alberta, Honourable Minister Boissonnault, Honourable Member of the Parliament, Garnett, good friend of Ukraine and Ukrainian community, dear Chyczij, the President of Canadian-Ukrainian Congress, Oleksandr Danyleiko, and Orysia Boychuk, and шановна українська громада в Альберті, and all the distinguished guests. It's my honor to welcome you all at the UCC-Alberta Provincial Council 50 Years Anniversary Conference. Today, with the great pride and deep gratitude, I extend my warmest congratulations on this 50th anniversary of UCC-Alberta. This landmark celebration reminds us of the remarkable journey of the Ukrainian community in Alberta that truly embodies the theme of this conference: strengthening unity, building community together. For half of the century, UCC-Alberta was a beacon of unity, resilience, and cultural pride. Throughout the unwavering dedication of Ukrainian Canadians living in Alberta, you preserved Ukrainian culture, our heritage, our history, our traditions, and you share the Ukrainian spirit with many of the people living in Alberta. For over past 50 years, UCC-Alberta has united more than 450,000 of Ukrainians living across the province. You have established here in Alberta Ukrainian language schools, cultural centers, numerous volunteer organizations, with the dedication and the effort of each of you, and I really thank all of you. I think like Ukraine and Ukrainian community in Alberta have many remarkable milestones that many Ukrainians living in Ukraine know very well. First, monument to Holodomor was built by your efforts here in Alberta. And when President Zelensky was speaking in the Parliament of Canada last year, that was one of the milestones which he put in his remarks as the great evidence of this cultural ties and important work which Ukrainian community in Alberta has been doing for these 50 years. In 1976, UCC-Alberta played a vital role in establishing the Canadian Institute of Ukrainian Studies at the University of Alberta, which is now one of the world's leading centers of Ukrainian studies and an important hub for research of Ukrainian history, language, and culture. All of Ukrainians around the world know Ukraine's biggest prison in the world, which is located here in Alberta in Redderville. And I can spend probably another hour naming so many achievements of you, our bright community of Ukrainian Canadians in Alberta. And I want especially to thank each of you, because without your work, without your dedication, without your time devoted to Ukraine, to Ukrainian culture, to Ukrainian language, none of this would become possible. I would like, dear guests, Today, during this celebration of 50th anniversary of UCC-Alberta, we are living in the most challenging time in the modern history of Ukraine. Just within the next 10 days, we will mark 1,000 days since the start of the full-scale Russian invasion. It means that for thousands of days, people across Ukraine are fighting for our freedom, for our sovereignty, and for our independence. And for these thousands of the days, your support of the big Ukrainian community in Canada and especially in Alberta was very helpful and very instrumental for this fight. I would like to thank you, the government of Alberta, being the first provincial government in Canada, and actually as an example and on the role model, to provide the funding to supply the protective gear for our soldiers as the war started. I would like to thank you many companies and many businesses from Alberta which were supporting Ukraine, including with the energy equipment that is essential today for millions of Ukrainians who are living with no electricity, with no water supply, as Russia continues to destroy the energy grids. I would also like to say a very special thing from myself to Alberta, because Alberta as a province has the sister relations with Ukrainian region where I was born, in Ivano-Frankivsk. So I can assure you, for me personally, Alberta has a very special place in my heart. As we are living in these challenging times, шановні українці, шановна українська громада в Альберті, сьогодні від кожного з нас залежить, як швидко настане наша перемога. Коли ми дивимося на історію і ми дивимося на ті важливі досягнення, які українська громада в Альберті здійснила за ці 50 років, багато з них були пов'язані з нашою боротьбою за незалежність. Багато з них були пов'язані з лідерством ваших батьків, ваших дідів і бабусів, які невтомно працювали над тим, аби Україна досягла своєї незалежності, аби Україна розцвітала. І сьогодні на плечах кожного з нас величезна відповідальність допомогти нашій країні у цей визначальний і історичний час. Today, on the shoulders of all of us, Ukrainian Canadians, is a huge responsibility to help Ukraine to win this war, to help Ukraine in our fight for independence, for freedom, but also for the values and the rule-based order which we all cherish, no matter in which part of the world we live. And I want to thank you for your leadership, for your efforts. And I want to call you, don't stop on this fight. Don't stop on this fight to advocate for Ukraine. Because the victory in this war will be our joint victory. And the victory of Ukraine and our joint efforts during these days will be something which we will proudly share with our generations ahead. Thank you for inviting me today on this 50th anniversary. And on behalf of people of Ukraine, Embassy of Ukraine, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to UCC-Alberta, to each of you, for your efforts, for your dedication, and for this incredible journey of 50 years you've achieved. Thank you, і слава Україні!
And let's move forward. It is our privilege to welcome Alexandr Danyleiko, Consul General of Ukraine in Edmonton.
Доброго ранку. Good morning, everyone. Your Honor, Salma, Lakhani, Minister, MLAs, Mayor Sohi, Chyczij, and everyone Доброго ранку. It's my great pleasure and honor to attend this conference and as the official representative of Ukraine here in Alberta to congratulate the Ukrainian Canadian Congress and Alberta Provincial Council on this remarkable anniversary. First of all, I would like to extend my heartfelt congratulations to the President Orysia, Boychuk, to the leadership and all members of the Ukrainian Canadian Congress Alberta Provincial Council on its 5th anniversary. For half a century, UCC-APC has been a center of gravity for Ukrainians in Alberta, has raised generations of proud Ukrainian Canadians. The Ukrainian patriots preserved and enriched traditions of the organizations that were established 50 years ago. Today, UCC-APC stands as a powerful advocate for the interests of Ukrainians in Alberta and vital center for preserving our Ukrainian identity and promote our historical and cultural heritage here in the province. These days, Ukraine is going through the difficult times. As the ambassador mentioned, we will mark soon the 1,000 days of our resistance, of our fight against Russian aggression for our land, for our freedom, actually for our survival. And at this point, I would like to thank the government of Alberta, all Albertans, Ukrainian community of Alberta, for really strong and vital needed support which you provide to Ukraine. Because we are fighting not only for our freedom, for our lives, we are fighting for the future of our world, for the values we all share. If Putin succeeds, all the dictators in the world will decide that they can do whatever they want, and we will go out of order. So we have to win this war, and we really badly need your support. Please continue supporting Ukraine, and together we will win, and together we will celebrate our victory. Years ago, it was like yesterday, we opened the Consulate General of Ukraine here in Alberta. And one of the main reasons for that decision was because of the Ukrainian community here, because of the so bright and active Ukrainian community in Alberta, so we decided to open the Consulate General of Ukraine here. That time we probably didn't know how actually active and big community here. So if we knew, probably we would make another decision. But today I'm really proud to be the very first Consul General of Ukraine in Alberta. Actually, from the beginning, we were the part of UCC-Alberta because they provided us with the premises. We were working for, I believe, half a year approximately in their premises while we are preparing our facilities for opening. So thank you very much for that support, the practical and real support. And so based on that, I believe that we can even give the all right to grant the diplomatic status to the UCC-Alberta. With all the diplomatic privileges and immunities and what most important, tax exemptions. So thank you very much. And I really enjoyed working these 6 years with you, with the Ukrainian Canadian Congress here in Alberta, with all Ukrainian community. It's amazing community, very active, very bright, and I wish you all the best on your journey ahead. I congratulate you on this milestone anniversary, and now you have much more challenges. More Ukrainians came here. You have the very big and important task to do and the goals to achieve. Дорога українська громада Альберти, щиро вітаю з цим ювілеєм Конгресу українців Канади, Провінційної ради Альберти. Я надзвичайно радий і задоволений працювати разом з вами тут, в Альберті, заради України, заради допомоги України, заради згуртування української громади тут в Альберті. Ми, українці, де б ми не були, маємо бути разом і разом боротися за нашу перемогу, єднатися, бо тільки в єднанні наша сила. Дякую, зі святом вас, гарної вам роботи, в подальшому, слава Україні!
Thank you so much for Alexandra for this beautiful speech. And let's move forward. We are honored to welcome Jackie Lovely, member of the Legislative Assembly for Camrose, Alberta.
I'm honored to bring greetings on behalf of the Minister of Immigration and Multiculturalism, the Honourable Mohammed Yassine, and the Government of Alberta. I'd like to recognize her honor, the Honourable Salma Lakhani, Lieutenant Governor of Alberta, as well as MP Randy Boissonnault, MP Garnett, Ambassador Yuliya Kovaliv, Consul General Alexandra Danyleiko, Mayor Amarjeet Sohi, and MP, I've just forgotten your last name. Thank you so much. I do want to recognize also the esteemed leaders from the Ukrainian community, including Paul Broad, Alexandra, Chyczij, Orysia, Boychuk, and all those present here today for this important conference and upcoming Hetman Awards. We are gathered here to celebrate the 50th anniversary of Ukrainian-Canadian Congress, Alberta Provincial Council, and I commend the UCC-APC's unwavering dedication to building a strong Ukrainian community here in Alberta. This year's conference, Strengthen Unity, Building Community Together, speaks to the essence of your mission and the vital role that unity plays in creating resilient and thriving communities. The Government of Alberta stands proudly alongside the Ukrainian community. From our ongoing support for Ukraine during challenging times to our commitment to welcome Ukrainian evacuees. We remain dedicated to supporting Ukrainian Canadians and ensuring that Alberta is a welcoming home for all. Through initiatives like the Ukrainian Evacuee Support Program, we are working closely with UCC, APC, and other partners to provide critical services such as basic English classes and welcome support at Edmonton International Airport. These programs are instrumental in helping newcomers settle, integrate, and feel at home in our province. Tomorrow's Hetman Awards will be a testament to the dedication and passion of volunteers who have contributed so much to the Ukrainian community in Alberta. These volunteers not only preserve and celebrate Ukrainian culture, but also strengthen Alberta's multicultural landscape. We extend our deepest gratitude to all award recipients for their selfless contributions to enriching our province. Alberta's Ministry of Immigration and Multiculturalism is committed to supporting newcomers through a range of programs from settlement services to language training and career mentoring, ensuring that everyone has access to resources they need to succeed and thrive in Alberta. The Alberta Settlement and Integration Program and our newcomer support grants are just a few examples of how we're working to address the evolving needs of immigrant communities. Additionally, initiatives like the Anti-Racism Grant Program and the Ethnocultural Grant Program empower organizations to foster diversity, promote inclusivity, and create stronger, more connected communities. Now, before I close, I wanted to just share with you that I had the absolute pleasure of running into someone who changed my life. You know who you were. This young man, please stand. Now, Igor was one of the Ukrainian students who attended Augustana. And meeting you, young man, changed my life because you introduced me to the Ukrainian student community at Augustana. And many of them I went on to hire to help me in various capacities. They helped me more than I helped them. And all of you have really had such a tremendous impact on me, so thank you so much. In closing, I want to commend the UCC, the organizers, and each attendee here today. Your work strengthens not only the Ukrainian-Canadian community, but Alberta as a whole. Thank you for your commitment to foster unity, resilience, and cultural richness within our province. Together, we're building a future where diversity is celebrated, where everyone has an opportunity to thrive. Thank you.
And it's a great pleasure to welcome His Worship Mayor Amarjeet Sohi, City of Edmonton.
Well, good morning, everyone. Are you enjoying your morning so far? I wanted, first of all, take a moment to welcome each and every one of you to Edmonton. I know many of you are visiting us from rest of Alberta as well as rest of Canada. So raise your hand if you're visiting us from outside Edmonton. So there's many people here. How many are you from Calgary? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I want to take this opportunity to remind Calgarians that Edmonton is the capital of Alberta. So please remind that your members of parliament, members of legislative assembly, when you get a chance to do so. And also remind Calgarians that Edmonton is, that Calgary is the second best city. So on behalf of Edmontonians, on behalf of my Consul colleagues, I want to take a moment to thank each and every one of you for your work over the last 50 years in establishing the Alberta branch of the UCC. I had a chance to work with Orysia and many other leaders, so President Boychuk for your leadership and many others. Edmonton would not be the community we are today without the contributions of Edmonton's Ukrainian community. You're integral to what we are. You're integral to what we are today and what we want to be tomorrow. So I want you to know that I'm here on behalf of my city council colleagues, on behalf of Edmontonians, to convey my deepest appreciation to each and every one of you for the contribution that you have made to build an Edmonton that we are. Thank you so much. And you have made tremendous contributions to not only Alberta, but not only Edmonton, but also to Alberta. And we have, Edmonton is very proud that we have one of the largest Ukrainian communities outside Ukraine residing here in our city as well, right? So very proud of that. And your contributions have been foundational to making Edmonton a vibrant and an inclusive city it is today. In the recent years, you have stepped up to help support those fleeing the devastation of war. And with President Boychuk and other leaders from the community, I actually had a chance a couple of months ago to meet some of those new Edmontonians who have been displaced by Russia's aggression against Ukraine and people who have been impacted with the war. And they are making Edmonton home now. I am so proud of the Ukrainian community, the way you have stepped up to help them provide housing, provide them the language training, the food support that they need, and the overall integration. Without your support, they would be struggling. But now they are actually, being integrated into the community and being helped to live up to their fullest potential. That's only possible because your dedication and your commitment. And I heard those stories from those people that I interacted with a couple of months ago, that how grateful they are congratulate all of you on the 5 decades of building and preserving the Ukrainian community and culture, and my utmost thanks for spearheading the efforts to help newcomers find belonging and success in our city. I also want you to know that Ukrainian community throughout the world and here in Edmonton have been going through some of the most difficult times since the war and the aggression of Russia against Ukrainian and the impact of that in our city. I want you to know that we continue to stand with solidarity on that, and I have personally done that. Walking with the leaders of the community to highlight the pain and the suffering that community is going through, and we will continue to do that. So, I'm here to convey that on behalf of Edmonton and on behalf of Edmonton City Council, we will continue to support not only the members who are here today, but as others arrive because of the displacement, and we will continue to support them the way we can. And we have done that by, local governments are very important players in helping people be successful, whether it is the access to jobs, access to transportation, access to recreational facilities, and other amenities. And we have made sure that all newcomers to Edmonton, it doesn't matter how they arrive here, when they arrive here, they have equal access and equitable access to all city services that other Edmontonians have, and that helps with integration and fulfilling people's potential. So with that, I want to take a moment to once again thank your leadership and your contributions, and to my Calgary friends, please do not take offense, right? It was just a joke, and I just wanted to warm up the audience to do something, right? So I took the punching bag, right? So that's fine. I get that all, when I visit Calgary, I get that all the time. And we're kind of used to it, right? So please don't take that offense. And to everyone on the stage, to all the dignitaries and the leaders from various orders of government. If one thing is uniting us, as you heard from these speakers, it is our commitment to dignity, our commitment to extending respect, and our commitment to ensuring that each and every one of us are able and willing and feel that connection to our city, that Edmonton is for everyone, that in this city we all belong, and that is the spirit that I have seen from the Ukrainian community from this organization over the last 50 years, and that's what I experience each and every day that I interact with Edmontonians. So let's continue to build on that foundation, let's continue to create a community and a city for everyone, that Edmonton belongs to all of us. With that, thank you so much for having me.
Oh wow, being a newcomer, being from Calgary. Now I understand how important it is to always remember that Edmonton is the capital of Alberta. Thank you so much. So let's move forward, and we are honored to welcome Alexandra Chyczij, President of the Ukrainian-Canadian Congress. Your presence is truly appreciated. Please, on the stage.
Honored dignitaries, dear friends, шановна громадо, доброго ранку. On behalf of the Ukrainian-Canadian Congress National, our member organizations, provincial councils, and municipal branches, it is my honor to bring greetings to delegates of this 50th anniversary conference. Орисю, дякую за запрошення, вітаю вас всіх і бажаю вам многих літ. For 50 years, you have been leading the community in Alberta through your cultural institutions, dance, art schools, youth programs, business and commerce, faith-based organizations. UCC-Alberta and its volunteers, donors, and supporters have built one of the world's, and I say that again, one of the world's strongest and most vibrant and dedicated Ukrainian communities. The last 50 years have been tumultuous for our community here in Canada and for our brothers and sisters in Ukraine. 50 years ago, Ukraine was still under Soviet-Russian occupation, and the identity, culture, language, and traditions and the yearning for freedom of the Ukrainian people was under attack by the communist regime. But a generation ago, Ukraine won its freedom. Today, Ukrainians courageously fight to defend not only their own freedom, but that of the European continent from Russia's genocidal war. With their bravery and valor, the Ukrainian people remind us that, as Ronald Reagan said, freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. It must be fought for and protected. So today I wish you wisdom in your deliberations as you determine how to support Ukraine's fight for freedom, how to advocate for more support, how to explain to our government officials, to our neighbors, and to the media why Ukraine's fight is also Canada's fight. How to support those tens of thousands of Ukrainians who have found shelter here in Alberta and who have joined our community and reinvigorated it. It is so important that our community is strong and united so that we can rise to this challenge, so that we are ready for this time, for this moment. And because of your work, your support, your dedication, we are ready. So I thank you all for being here today, and I look forward to a successful and inspiring conference. Дякую вам всім. До перемоги. Слава Україні!
It is with great pride and respect that we welcome Orysia Boychuk, President of the Ukrainian-Canadian Congress-Alberta Provincial Council. The very organization development is remarkable. With your tireless vision and dedication have been pivotal in bringing this conference to life and in strengthening our community over the years. Orysia, thank you for our unwavering commitment.
Добрий день. Дякую. Шановні гості, Her Honor, elected officials, delegates, speakers, moderators, вітаємо від імені Конгресу українців Канади, Провінційна Рада Альберти. Вітаю всіх вас сьогодні на цю ювілейну конференцію. It is an incredible honor to welcome all of you to this 50th anniversary conference of the Ukrainian-Canadian Congress-Alberta Provincial Council, Strength in Unity, Together Building Community. This is a sold-out event with over 250 delegates joining us, reflects the dedication, strength, and unity that have defined our community for the past 5 decades. We are thrilled to gather leaders from all across Alberta, from all corners of Alberta. We'd also like to welcome our guests from Saskatchewan. We have Alina Kruger, UCC President. We have with us UCC President of BC, Lesia Shiroka. We also have joining with us, as you know, our President, UCC National, World Congress President, Paul Grod will be joining us a little bit later on, and the VP of Ukrainian World Congress from Denmark, Roman Nikitenko, will also be joining us. There will be also Bishop David Boychuk, Father Cornel Zabritsky, and we are so thrilled to welcome our deaf community. Today, we move forward in our continued partnership, and we are excited. We hope this relationship and partnership continues as we move forward. Also, I'm very thrilled to announce that today, this afternoon, at lunch, we will be honored with the presence of our Deputy Prime Minister, Chrystia Freeland, who will be joining us for a keynote address during lunch. All your participation reinforces the importance of our shared work and commitment to building the future together. This conference is not just a celebration of our achievements, but a working event focused on developing practical strategies for the road ahead. With over 50 outstanding presenters, 16 topics on the agenda, we aim to engage in meaningful dialogue and identify 2 to 3 actionable outcomes for each session. These strategies will serve as a roadmap for our community's development over the next 2 to 5 years. In the past 130 years of our history of Ukrainian Canadians, there have been 4 waves of war-displaced immigration from Canada to Ukraine, including Alberta. The first wave was in 1921 to 1929, when many of the 70,000 Ukrainians came to Canada after the defeat of the Ukrainian army fighting for independence after World War I. The second wave of 35,000 was the displaced persons camp in 1947 to 1954, after World War II, when Western Ukraine was occupied by the Soviet Red Army. The third wave of less than 5,000 was during the War of Bosnia-Herzegovina in the late 1980s in the former Yugoslavia, as well as from Poland during the Solidarity movement opposed by the communist Polish government. So the UCC-APC is very aware of the trauma and challenges of war-displaced Ukrainians have experienced in the past 2 years. Since February 2022, when the Ukraine was invaded by the imperialist armed forces of the Russian Federation, the volunteers of UCC have worked intensively with the 300,000 war-displaced newcomers, the largest number in our history, who have settled in Canada, coast to coast. Here in Alberta, the UCC-APC have cooperated with federal, provincial, and city authorities and service agencies to help settle 65,000 Ukrainian citizens of Ukraine received an organized welcome here. I understand the schedule today is packed, and we are already behind schedule. So, I do want to move quickly here, and ensure you that this is only the beginning of our journey. We do not expect to solve all our problems today, but the discussion we have here will lay the foundation for our future. At the end of the conference, I will highlight some of the key strategies identified in these sessions. This will be our starting point for a shared pathway forward, one that we can all work towards as a united community. Thank you again for being here, for your leadership, your dedication to strengthening and building our community all together. I look forward to the productive conversation ahead and to seeing the outcomes we create all together. Сердечно дякую всім вам за вашу участь сьогодні. Дякую, що ви прийшли. Дякую, що ви будете приймати ці дуже важливі дискусії. Enjoy the conference. Let's make the most of this opportunity. Let's seize the moment. Thank you. Дякую всім вам. Щасливо. Гарного дня.
Thank you so much, Orysia. So that's all for the opening remarks for the day. But before move forward to agenda, I would like to say one more time thank you for our sponsors. So let's give a round of applause for our sponsors. Alberta Foundation for Ukrainian Education Society for spreading the Ukrainian language material on this conference. We also want to say thank you, Permanent Legal Solutioning, the Chyczij Mortgage Team, Real Estate Agent Oleksandr and the Agenda Translations. And now agenda of the conference. As we move forward into today's program, we want to ensure that all participants have access to the most current schedule and details. In an effort to keep everyone informed seamlessly, we invite you to scan the QR code provided on the screens. This QR code links to the latest agenda on our website with updates on sessions, speakers, and any adjustments. For your convenience, additional QR codes are posted in each salon. Please make use of these resources to stay fully informed and prepared throughout the day. And as we conclude the opening of the 50th anniversary conference, I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to each of you for your presence and for your engagement. Your participation is essential to making these events meaningful and impactful. We encourage you to stay connected with us through our social media channels for ongoing updates and continued engagement. And it has been my pleasure to be your MC this morning. I look forward to see you on media and journalism stream, or probably during one of our live streams that we're gonna do as a Ukrainian radio station of Canada based in Calgary. Hope to see everyone here and our stream. And Slava Ukraini.